What's up, everyone? You all were literally minutes away from this being a solo show, and you would have had to listen to my voice for a full 45 to 60 minutes. I'm sure you all would have loved it, but luckily, producer Andy was able to find someone to help with the words today, and then you don't have to just listen to me. We'll get into that. We're going to talk about the match this past weekend, other stuff. Who knows? Let's get right into this. Welcome to the Show of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. And as we start this show, one of my regular co-hosts decides to jump on. We're going to get him here soon, but I'm going to introduce the savior for this episode that saved you all from having to listen to me for a full episode. You might recognize his face from our intro video, Lifting the Cup at Championship Soccer Stadium. That is CLC's finest, Blaine Jenks. Blaine, long time, no chat. Welcome back on our show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been a long time since I've been on here with you guys. So glad to be here. Glad to help out.
We're glad to have you. You're pretty much the expert when it comes to this team, when it comes to the history of this team, and just knowing what's going on the pitch. Let me just get your, before I even bring in anyone else, let's get your just thoughts so far at this point of the season. We're now mid-May for Orange County Soccer Club. Where are you with this performance from the team so far? Do you think they've overachieved, underachieved, or they're right about where you thought they'd be at this point?
I would say I think we're right about where I thought we'd be. We kind of knew that there was some holes going in and some depth issues going in, and we always have a fair amount of injuries every season early on. So it's been about the same. So I kind of think we're right where I kind of anticipated.
Awesome. And so you're thinking we're right about where you anticipated this team to be. How does that set your future? How do you think this team's going to look going forward in this season? Are you positive? Are you more on the side where you think this is going to be a struggle?
I'm in the middle of the road. I would say. It's interesting because we've always had these ebbs and flows, right? And I think it's kind of the same. We're not coming out. We came out in that first game looking like, oh man, like we might be looking really strong. But as injuries happen and depth gets tested, I think most seasons you kind of see us landing where we are right now. So it's not a surprise, and I think we'll be right middle of the road as the season goes. We'll add new faces, I'm sure, as we do over the summer. And I kind of see us finishing middle table, maybe squeaking into a home playoff spot. We'll see. But I think we're a solid playoff team, but may not get that home field off the bat.
Perfect. Well, we'll get into more of that detail, but I do want to welcome, I guess, one more person to this show. And I wasn't sure if he'd make it here till the last moment. Thus, at the end of this episode, Dylan, I apologize, you're not on the credits, but that's Dylan, one of the original hosts for the Orange and Black Soccer Cast. Dylan, how are we doing?
It's been a week. My apologies for being late once again, but hey, we're here. Let's chat some footy. I'm glad Blaine's here too. I mean, at least someone's going to be talking some sense on this show. And that's probably the first time that someone's ever said that about something Blaine has to say.
It'll be someone in the comments, I'm sure.
Yeah, certainly not your wife.
I was going to say, you're saying I don't talk sense on this show, Dylan. I feel very much offended by that.
Good.
Okay. Well, I love it. Dylan's on, even though he was a last minute onto this episode here, it seems like he's right on point. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the match this past weekend. Orange County coming off of what we were talking about last week as the best performance of the season since the home opener or the season opener going back into March. A good results against Tulsa and I think we were anticipating something good here. Let me start straight out on this. I feel like Orange County actually looked pretty good in this match on the road in Cary, North Carolina. They just, for whatever reason, were not clinical on any of their attempts on goal for the most part. There was one or two that were actually difficult for the goalie, and then there was that flurry towards the end of the match with like I don't know, a million corners for Orange County to close out this match, and the goalkeeper for North Carolina. I forget what his name was. Does anyone recall his name? McGuire? Is that correct? I got it. I know what I'm doing, Dylan. You're shaking your head. Yes. Made some key saves at the end of that match. I felt like Orange County was ready to score a goal. But yeah, just some lack of clinical finishing. And I think North Carolina had like one or two really dangerous opportunities, and they took advantage of one of them to get a goal right at the end of the first half. Blaine, I just talked a whole lot. You're on here to stop me from talking so much. What were your thoughts on this match, just overall for Orange County at North Carolina?
So I was watching on my phone during my son's baseball practice, so trying to pay attention when I could. I felt like long stretches, it kind of, from both sides, the game kind of got a little dull. Um, and it was hard to really open up the back lines on either side. Um, so overall, I mean, it's traveling to the East Coast. I felt like we looked a bit lethargic for stretches, but obviously at the end of that match, we started pressing and we just couldn't find the finisher. We easily could have drew that game. North Carolina didn't seem overly dangerous throughout, but they also seemed a bit. It was an interesting game. It seemed like both teams felt a little lethargic throughout. But we did put ourselves in some really good spots. Dunbar put himself in some really good spots. I just got to find the frame on some of those. So, like you said, we looked like the better team at the end of all of it, but not a fantastic team. And maybe I say different things if we put two away. I'm singing our praises, you know. But overall, we were okay.
Yeah, plenty of opportunities for Orange County. I want to just my brain thinking here, right? There was at least 4 or 5 shots that just went slightly over the crossbar, or were tapped over from McGuire, North Carolina's goalkeeper. Dylan, what do you think of this match overall? Do you think the result doesn't match what should have maybe happened in this match for Orange County? Obviously, we saw a pretty much one-on-one with the goalkeeper where Bryce Jamison just shanks it wide left. And when I say wide left, I mean wide left. And a couple other times where we saw Dunbar on the replays, we saw Jamison on the replays, barely, over the crossbar. Did Orange County deserve to pick up at least a point, if not the full 3 points in this match? Or do you think the result is proper?
Well, I'm going to say that the result is proper because it's the result. Maybe statistically, I think is a better way of looking at it. Where did North Carolina do anything in this game? No, not really. 2 shots on target. One of those found the back of the net. That happens, and life happens. We looked okay. I think that is a good way of describing it. We looked a lot better than I thought we were going to look, to be honest with you. Traveling east is brutal. That's typically kind of sought after as, hey, this is really hard to do. We're playing on a Friday. We're playing earlier than we're used to playing. Kind of everything stacked against us. But ultimately, yeah, we didn't manage to score, and that's why we're, we had a good result, and it's this stop-start kind of situation that we find ourselves in. I don't think it's time to blow everything up. I don't even think it's panic time yet, because for all of our shortcomings right now with the product on the field, it's starting to look like players are figuring it out. And whether or not Bryce Jamison didn't play for a few weeks to start this season because transfer details are being finalized, whatever that looked like, it's good to see him back in. It's frustrating he doesn't put that one away on Friday night. I think he puts it away a handful of other times this season. If he keeps playing, I think he puts that one away next time. But we didn't score, and when you start taking pot shots from distance, yeah, it's just gonna be difficult. It's hard to get it's hard to get through a back five. And yeah, Jake McGuire actually had a pretty good evening for himself. So kind of all went against us, unfortunately. But it's still young. It's still not panic time yet, or maybe it is, Ray. I don't know. And now you've pulled a Brad, so even when he's not here, it's good that
I did pull a
including him.
Brad. You know, I was typing, and you always give me a hard time, Dylan, when I'm typing and my mic isn't muted. That you go on the chats and tell me to mute because my typing. So that's what happened there. I was trying to say I'm not in panic mode yet. I actually sort of agree with you. The team has looked better over the last couple of matches here. I think results on this, just one or two lucky bounces for Orange County. I think they have 2 goals, and again, it was very limited chances from North Carolina. And I don't know. Let me ask you this, Blaine, because I'm just, and again, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I feel like Orange County is one of these teams, this year's team, where the final couple minutes in the first half, they tend to sort of just shut it down. And that's when I feel like there's been multiple games this season where we concede in the final minute or two of the first half, and it just deflates us. It takes away whatever chance or whatever momentum we might have. Do you am I thinking correctly here, Blaine? Does that sound familiar to you?
I mean, we've seen it once or twice. I don't feel, if my memory serves me right, that we're creating a habit of it this season. We've seen that in other seasons before. So I don't know. Obviously, if you give up a goal at the end of a half, it's going to deflate you every time. And it's a little hard to get back in it, and it sucks going back to the locker room down a goal when you were that close to going in even. So, but I don't feel like it's a habit that we're creating. I could be wrong too. I don't have the stats in front of me, but yeah, I'm not. It's not worrisome to me.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I know a lot of people, and maybe you were one of them. There was a concern on the defense heading into the season. Obviously, Grayson Duty was supposed to be a big part of that defense for Orange County, and he suffered a season-ending season-ending injury in the Open Cup against AV Alta. We brought in Santos to sort of be the replacement for him. But what are your thoughts so far on what we've seen from Santos? I feel like there's in the limited play time, I think he's been sort of responsible for one or two of the goals, and I think he might have been the one that didn't track back to cover that back post in this game winner for North Carolina. Is there any concerns there from you? And I'll go to you. I'll ask you first, Blaine, and then Dylan
Yeah.
can answer on that as well.
I don't have any big concerns with it. I haven't seen enough. Nothing screams out like, oh my gosh, we need a replacement for this. Like, but obviously depth is important. I'd have to see a few more games, some more minutes out of them to kind of make a judgment call on that.
Okay. Dylan, your thoughts?
I like a wandering fullback, and I don't think that's really causing our problems. If I wanted to point at a longer term issue that this club has been plagued with for years, it's floated crosses to the back post. But that's not a fullback's responsibility. Ultimately, he needs to get up the pitch to support the midfield and provide some width moving forward, and that's the risk you run. Is that on occasion it's difficult for them to get back, and you can get caught out like that. That's why you have a holding midfielder. And, Partita just doesn't step in time with everybody else, and they get away with one.
All right. We've talked about a lot of the stuff on this match. Is there anyone that you were, and I'll go to you first, Dylan, any players from this match that stood out from you as they've earned either the playing time that they received or they've earned more playing time based on what we saw in this match? Is there anyone that stood out for you from Orange County?
I think Lion McKinnon. I know that Zubak is, working his way back into fitness after that injury, but even if he didn't score in this match, even if a lot of that work was coming from distance, I think he offers us something a little bit different. And Zubik's had a rough start to the year, so I wouldn't mind seeing McKinnon get a chance for a little bit longer and seeing what we can work out with. Because ultimately, like if Ethan Zubak is your option coming off the bench, that's pretty freaking great. That's going to be terrifying for a handful of opposing center backs.
And what about on your end, Blaine? Anyone on this team that you saw, you're like, oh, they deserve more minutes, or they deserve the full match like they got?
No one's really grabbed it. Like, I mean, I really enjoyed when Barjolo came in. I don't know if he's needs to get more minutes than coming in late currently, but I felt like he had some good movement late in the game, so maybe in a little earlier than he was in this match. But outside of that, I was really enjoyed Dunbar's movement on the ball. He had some good turns. I would like to feel like when he gets the ball inside the 18 that it's going to be a dangerous moment. But currently, I'm like, okay, I don't feel like the goal is coming necessarily. So I'd like to see more of that killer instinct from him. But outside of that, no one else really went down or up in my book. I do enjoy McKinnon getting on the ball in the 18 is always an exciting moment. So,
Yeah, Liam McKinnon, obviously, I still have very high hopes for him. I think he will get there. He will start scoring goals. It'll open for him. I was hoping after the match against Tulsa that would start happening for him. And unfortunately, in this match, we didn't get to see a goal, but we saw some good play from him. I really would love to see Bryce Jamison get something in there. I feel like he's just sort of pressing now to try and get something. Thus, more than likely, the reason why his shot that really should have been a difficult save or even a goal that went wide. I think that's just coming from him trying to press for that goal, and he's just in his head now at that point. And I think that's where Liam McKinnon was until the Tulsa match. I think some of these players are getting their head in. I don't know if y'all saw that in this match. I feel like some of these players are getting very frustrated out there, and they're getting frustrated with each other. I think there were quite a few close-ups where you saw Kyle Scott sort of after he couldn't find somewhere to play the ball, he's looking at teammates, pointing at them, sort of frustrated and yelling. And I'm not just saying it's Kyle Scott alone. I feel like there were some other players that were showing some of that same body language. Is there any concerns, Dylan, from you that we're potentially getting to a point where the chemistry breaks a little and we're going to have some frustration from the players that's going to boil over into the overall cohesiveness of this team?
If we keep having a start-stop kind of way, yeah, they're going to be frustrated. I don't think anybody on this team would be happy right now if you said, hey, we're going to be in 7th place, 8 matches in. Level on points and ensure like a potential win out of, I don't know, 5th or something. But it's been a rough start, and yeah, they're going to be frustrated. They're also professionals, so I expect them to, one, push each other and kind of drive the performance that way. I think you could be critical, and I think you could be frustrated in this environment, and I think that's fair without causing long-term issues. Now it's up to the coaching staff and it's up to the players themselves to kind of sort that out and make sure that doesn't become a thing. But this doesn't feel toxic or as divisive. A lot of these players have played together and been successful together already. Just got to figure it out a little bit more for the time being. So it's not panic time yet. And we've looked far, far worse before, even if this isn't a great result given the performance.
Yeah, no need to panic yet. If you look back, championship year 2021, 8 matches in, I believe we were 4 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. So not too far off that. I guess the scary part is we're only 3 points away from last place in the West. Any last thoughts on this match? Let me ask you this, Blaine. Were you hoping to see another Colin Shuttler goal in that flurry of corner kicks at the end of the match?
I was wondering where he was at points near the end. I see him on top of the box there, and definitely crossed my mind. I'm sure it was crossing his mind.
Yeah,
So
that would have been fun to see. That would have been awesome if we could get still a point again from a header uh, from Colin Shuttler. That would have been really cool. Orange
how
County.
long in the season last year was he like top 4 goal scorers? I mean, I feel like we went pretty far into the season with some of our other strikers being behind him on goals, and finally we started putting some away as the season went. So he probably didn't get to rib them as much as I'm sure he was the first half of last season.
Yeah,
I felt
no,
like
no,
it must have been June or July easily. It was just everybody had one. There were 5 or 6 players with 1 goal.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Really quick, we have the game flow chart that's on the screen. That's courtesy of American Soccer Analysis. And this is where I was talking about when we first started about this match is if you look at that, it's very heavily in Orange County's favor for most of that match, except for the goal from North Carolina. That was the one really good opportunity that they had that unfortunately troubled Colin Shuttler enough where the ball hit the back of the net. So that's where this match gets frustrating. Look at XG for Orange County 1.45, XG for North Carolina 0.38. Although I know some people don't really like XG statistic as sort of an analysis of a match, but yeah, this is something that I feel like it's more disappointing because Orange County should have gotten the result in this based on what you saw, even just the visual, just seeing it, not even looking at these funky stats. I didn't know any of these numbers until we see them on the screen right now here for the live view, which in case you don't know what we're talking about, we do a live show every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We also release the video format of this show on Spotify podcast, so you can actually watch this on replay if you subscribe to us on Spotify. Also, just follow us anywhere on social media, Twitter/X, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, whatever social media platform you like, and give us those hearts because we like those as well. For Orange County to get back on target and get back on the positive track, it's going to take some work because they are going to be hosting New Mexico United here this coming weekend. Let's see, how's New Mexico looking into this season? Does anyone know? I don't have it right in front of me, but I believe they're looking pretty good. They're third in the West.
They're third in the West. It's either a win or lose for them. They do not draw. Hilariously, they've scored 9 goals and conceded 9 goals. So, boom.
But they don't draw.
Bust for them. Yeah.
That is so random that you're on pace for basically a draw, but you don't draw. That's interesting. Dylan, since you jumped in with that there, I'm going to let you get the first crack at this. New Mexico United, Orange County. What do we need to see? What, obviously, other than the Allen special of we need to score more goals than them, what do we need to see from Orange County this weekend to get the fans excited again?
A bunch of goals. I mean, what's exciting? And Blaine, please correct me if I'm wrong. We've lost some high-scoring games before, and it's still at least exciting if we lose 4-3 as opposed to losing 1-0 and taking 20-something shots.
Yeah, we everyone likes to see it hit the back of the net. So
yeah,
even if you give up some, it'd be entertaining.
Yeah. Now, I think that was maybe the way that we look at, hey, the season's, we're just going to win every game 4-3 and see what happens and hope for the best come the end of the year. And well, it's not working out so far. But yeah, I think working forward, working the ball forward, and maybe figuring out exactly how Santos fits into this one. Probably a little late to go back to it now, but the kind of average position map, he does end up kind of on the right wing by himself. And I think that's in large parts because Bryce Jamieson is just getting so far forward and kind of getting a little bit more narrow. So obviously I think that's why we conceded Friday night. But if we can find him to get involved, I think part of the reason Orange County has been so good is when Ryan Dogman's able to get so far up the pitch because he is supported by a holding midfielder that suddenly you have an overload on one side of the pitch. And if we can have an overload on the other side of the pitch and just move the ball back and forth and wait for someone to make a mistake, they will eventually make a mistake because, well, the easiest way to get defenses to make a mistake is to just ping across to the other side, have everybody try and shuffle over one player. Someone will eventually forget to shuffle over. They'll leave a gap, and we can head in because Lion McKinnon is plenty tall and plenty strong enough to get himself onto the end of something. Ethan Zubak is plenty tall, plenty strong enough to get something. Cameron Dunbar, probably not who you'd think to be winning headers in the box, but on Friday night, hey, he proved he will and he can do it. So it just takes that moment. We just have to force mistakes from our opponents, and we're home and a free, and then we can give them their 4th loss of the year.
That'd be fun. Blaine, your thoughts on this upcoming match? Are you nervous? Are you excited? Or what's your feeling going into the match at the Championship Soccer Stadium against New Mexico?
I feel like it's going to be a tight match. I don't see either team racking up the goals. I think it's going to be a 1-0, a 2 or 2-1, either direction. So I haven't watched too much. I've seen some highlights of New Mexico, so I'm not overly familiar with their squad this season, outside of just looking at the stats. Similar on goal differential. I think we're -3. They're at 0. So I think it's gonna be a tight game. I think if we play even like we did in North Carolina, if we convert 1 or 2 of those chances, then it's a different game, and we don't have to change a whole lot in how we're playing to get some points out of this.
Yeah, and I didn't know this because I didn't really do any pre-scouting, but Josh Wright on the chat says the New Mexico goalie got a red card the last match, so they're going to be going with a little bit less experience between the sticks. I think their backup is Chris Shakes, and he has all but 2 matches, or he's only got 2 matches of experience at the USL Championship level. So this is hopefully an opportunity for Orange County to get those goals that we were all anticipating that they can get, and get some high scoring, get a high scoring performance from the team. Maybe some goals from Liam McKinnon. Maybe Bryce Jamison can open up the net. Maybe War off the bench. Maybe Tristan Trager if he gets some minutes. It'd be fun to get some goals and see the ball hit the back of the net more than once or something like that. And apparently we do a lot better job of scoring when we're playing at the Championship Soccer Stadium as opposed to on the road, which I think is still 0 on the road for the USL Championship. I don't know. That I according to the NCFC announcers, I guess they said Orange County hasn't scored on the road yet this season. I haven't fact checked that, but that's what they were saying. So I'm just going with that. Dylan's thinking or looking.
Yeah, I'm going to wait for somebody to fact check you in the comments, but you had this feeling like we'd conceded a bunch of goals right before halftime, and we haven't. So
Yeah, I usually know my stuff. I can get things wrong every once in a blue moon, but I don't get 2 things wrong in an episode. That's definitely for sure. Let's get our predictions for this match. New Mexico at Championship Soccer Stadium, Orange County, New Mexico. What's the scoreline for you, Dylan?
I think Tim Backus being out, it's going to be a big miss for them. I'm backing the guys to, again, they're moving forward and things are looking good. We can convert. I'm going to say 2-0 here.
So first shutout of the season for Orange County is what you're claiming here. Blaine.
I'm going to go with 2-1. I can see us going up 2-0 and then conceding. So I'll go with the 2-1. Hopefully at home we can come out with 3 points.
All right. And we got some predictions coming through on the chats on the live stream. Joseph Figueroa, 1-0 Orange County. Mikey Rodriguez, 3-1 Orange County. Yeah. You know what? I feel like I'm getting to one of those points, Dylan. I'm getting to one of those points where I just feel like we have to do it. Do you not want to? You don't want to hear it.
You don't have to do it. Josh Wright.
Okay.
2-1.
I won't.
That's a great shout.
I will not do it then, Dylan, because you're telling me don't do it yet. I'm getting close. I might have to do it. So I'm going to do this. I want to see the return of Shutout Shuttler and this team getting a clean sheet in a match at home in front of the home crowd. I'm going to go 3-0 Orange County, and hopefully that is the result on this. We'll get a few goals. Chad Romiti. Rumors are Hurst has a hip injury, and he is questionable. Wouldn't that be nice if that was the case? Hopefully that is, in fact, the case, and that's even better for Orange County. Woohoo! I don't know what the status is of our prediction game. I don't know if that's ever going to be fixed correctly, but it is what it is. And yes,
It's
Carlos,
okay.
that is Blaine.
Because we don't know, I'm just going to assume that I'm in first place for the first time ever. And, yeah. I'll be lifting
Yeah,
a cup
I doubt that
alongside
would
Orange
happen.
County at the end of the year. Mine will just be smaller and insignificant.
Perfect. Anything else on this thoughts about this match before we move on?
Yeah, I do just want to say that New Mexico has yet to concede more than 2 goals this season. So if they somehow manage to concede 3 goals, Ray, you've got something going. We might actually have to start paying a little bit more attention and respect to you on the show.
How do y'all not pay more attention to me after I said Ryan McKenna needs to play up top, and he does, and he has a two goal match against Tulsa? Y'all should be listening to me right after that for the rest of this and taking me seriously, Dylan. That's all I got to say. Yeah, no, you look confused, Dylan.
I typically just kind of tune you out when you start talking, but look, a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while. He scored a brace. Next week he didn't score at all. It happens. It happens.
It does happen. Yeah.
This is some great podcasting, guys. We're waiting on a little something right now, but we're
yeah,
trying to fill the space.
Yeah. Is it?
So
Who,
I think
who
I think Bryce gets one. I think Bryce is due.
Bryce needs one.
Yeah.
And maybe our guest that's going to be jumping on right now will get a goal or 2 or 3. Who knows? Let's bring him on. That is attacker for your Orange County Soccer Club. We haven't seen much of him yet, but we're hoping we get to see a lot more of him at the remainder of this season. A local high school legend when it comes to soccer and I guess the American version of football. That's Tristan Trager. Tristan, welcome to our show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
We're glad you could join us. Before we get into all this soccer talk, tell us about. I just learned today that you played football in high school.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I played football all 4 years, um, and that's because I was playing academy at the time, and they had a rule where you couldn't play high school soccer. Yeah, and funny story is my mom actually gave me the idea to kick footballs, and just use it as a way that if soccer didn't work out, then I could possibly kick football in college. So, yeah, I started freshman year, went all the way to senior year. So played all 4 years and won a state championship my junior year. So that was pretty cool. Only state championship in San Clemente history. So
there you go. And how different it is. Like, did it like ruin your skills with soccer? Like, what's the difference between kicking a football and a soccer ball? And did it impact you at all?
Yeah, I dealt with some injuries for sure. And that was because I was growing during that stage as well. But I would say the only differences are obviously soccer ball. You're trying to keep it low, but I would say that the football is more of like hitting like a long ball kind of with loft, and you like finish on your plant foot. Whereas if you're like striking a ball, you're kind of finishing on your kicking foot. So kind of just like, yeah, that's like the technical side of it, but I would just say it's like hitting like a long ball, like if a center back or a goalkeeper were hitting a goal kick. Yeah.
All right, and one last question about American football. Then I promise we'll get to the actual good football
Yeah.
questions. Do you recall what the longest field goal or kick you made in a game?
I don't know. Our offense was pretty good. So I was never, if we were like, I think the
Or just
furthest
a rough guess?
I think the furthest I hit was like a 35 in a game, 36. If we were outside of that, like 40, we would just go for it on fourth down. So
Hey, it's all fun. It's all cool. These random things that we learn before our guest comes on, and it's fun to talk about. Let me ask you this next question, because obviously, first season with Orange County. And you're local to, you're from Orange County. What is it like playing back home, and how many friends and family were asking you for some free tickets to the matches this season?
It's pretty surreal. It kind of didn't hit me for a little bit because I would always come home for the off seasons, whether that be in San Clemente or um, my wife before she was my wife. She lived in Hermosa Beach, so I would just kind of bounce back and forth between those two cities. Um, but yeah, this off season I just never left. So it was nice. Yeah, and it's ironic because I played for Strikers Academy my last 3 years of high school, and I was just training. I would train on the Great Park Fields right outside the stadium. So to be training there now and uh, yeah, playing games at the Champ, it's still hasn't hit me because I haven't played. I've only played a few games there so far, but yeah, a lot of friends and family congratulated me after signing with the club, and um, I've had friends out, and my parents go to every game. So yeah, I'm pretty blessed.
Tristan, it was a good start for you. Obviously, a 4-2 win, your opening match. Got an assist as well in limited minutes, and then obviously missing out to injury. You're kind of rounding back. So where are you at in that kind of that fitness stage right now, and how close are you to more assists?
Yeah, um, yeah. Fitness level is I'm good. I've played the last two games near the end. And the injury I had, like I re-injured, so I was kind of nursing an injury in preseason with my hamstring, and then was kind of rushing it back to maybe be able to play in the first game because that was something really on my mind to be able to be back for that game. Um, and then Scylla crossed the ball, I think, and I like outstretched my leg pretty far, and I remember just kind of not really feeling anything, but after the game, I knew something was wrong. And it was just a re-injury of the first injury I had. So I knew coming back that it's a really long season. And so I told, the training staff and whatnot that I wanted to like take my time and really get it right. Therefore, I could be healthy the rest of the season. So yeah, it took a bit longer than I think everyone was hoping for to come back. But yeah, my body's feeling good and hoping to keep it that way for the rest of the season. But yeah, the fitness levels I would say are about 100% now. So excited for that.
Glad to hear it. The team's changed shape a little bit. The team looks a little bit different week to week. Where are where do you see yourself fitting in now as opposed to week one?
Um, yeah, it's been tough with the injuries, not just myself, with other guys. So I feel like we haven't had like a consistent run of games with full squad being healthy, which has been tough. Chemistry wise for players that have been healthy during this time. Playing with different lineups and stuff. But with the amount of games we have, and I think we have so much depth in our attack, a lot of quality players on this team. So it's just fitting in where the team needs me, and just doing our best to win games. That's kind of the bottom line is just whoever's on the field, do your best, and if you're coming off the bench, try to finish the game off strong.
Are there any players in training that you feel as the season goes, you're really feeling a strong connection with on the field, that you can really see a lot of connecting passes and so forth? Like who's that person that sticks out? Like, oh yeah, that guy, he's going to get me the ball.
Yeah, we have quite a few players on this team that if you look back at my goals last year, I had a lot of finishes from like crosses. So I normally try to bond with either the wingers or outside backs. Um, so Santos and Dogman and Pedro and Grayson before, just getting on those guys' radar, and just telling them the balls that I like delivered to the box, or just having that open line of communication with the outside backs. And our wingers on this team are so dangerous as well. So um, I feel like scoring from those outer positions, I primarily focus on more. But even guys like Kyle and Scylla and Chris in our midfield, just finding they can pick out a pass. So yeah, we have a lot of quality on this team, but I would probably say just the more outside players, because I feel like our team is we get in those outside positions. So just knowing where to be in the box.
Very cool.
Let's see. Do we have any fan questions? Dylan,
We do.
Do you have one?
Yeah. We've got Chuck's very serious. If you were an Air Force plane, what plane would you be?
If I were an Air Force plane, probably an F-22. That's like my favorite plane in the Air Force. So I think it's the best looking, and it's a fighter jet. So goes fast and does cool maneuvers in the air.
Is by chance is your favorite movie Top Gun? Like,
Um, I'm not a huge movie guy, but yeah, Top Gun probably has to be up there. Technically, it's Navy, but yeah, I do like it.
perfect. I feel like we're segueing into the part where we stop asking you questions about Tristan Trager, professional football player, and we start asking you questions about like Tristan Trager, who exactly is this random 25-year-old? Ray is probably going to ask you a whole bunch about music, but I'll just get this one out of the way. Tristan, what's your favorite vegetable, and how are you preparing that?
Yeah, I did my homework because I think Chad sent me some questions that were going to be asked. So
Oh no.
yeah, I've been eating a lot of sweet potatoes lately, and I had to make sure that was a vegetable, and I think it is according to Google. So normally I'll either I have an air fryer, so I'll stick it in the air fryer. Um, just put some like ground beef in there, like cheese, pico. Yeah, little like taco bowl inside the sweet potato.
I love that. That is maybe
Sounds
one of
like
the
your
best.
kind of dish, Dylan.
Yeah, that's right up my alley. I mean, I think we just eat the same food, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
All right,
Let,
Ray. I know you've got a whole bunch.
Hey, let's jump into the music really quick. What song right now? If you opened up your Spotify, Apple Music, whatever you use, what song's playing right now? Just you don't have to look it up actually, but what do you think? What song is
Um,
it?
it's called Summer '91. Koa Santos was playing it today in the gym, and like we're both like big like house guys. We love house music, so he was playing it today, and I was like, I love this song, and I played it like five times on the drive home from practice today. So that's the song I'm playing. It's called Summer '91.
Just had it on repeat, just going over and over, huh? I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. So maybe we know who you think has the best taste in music. Would that be Koa?
For my liking, yes, but there are some other good guys that are on Ox for sure.
And then who do you not ever want to hear their music on aux? Or if you're in the car with them, who are you like telling do not play your stuff?
Um, I think some of the more foreign players. Um, maybe Liam.
Liam?
Yeah.
What do you even know any of the songs he plays or
No, he's just from Switzerland, so I give him crap.
he
But
probably I will say this though. Maybe you could find out a recommendation. He probably knows the best Euro beats to play for the like the to have a really good soccer highlight reel, you have to have a random Euro beat playing in the background or you're not a legit it's not a
that's
legit
true.
highlight video.
That's true.
Um Now, one thing we've been doing recently is these 10 quick this or that questions. I'm going to switch it up a little bit on you. We're going to do this or that, but it's going to be sort of a playoff style here. So we'll figure this out. So I'm going to ask you, and then we can figure out what the categories are. Are you ready for this, Tristan?
Yep.
All right. First one: Dolphins or Cougars?
Dolphins.
Stallions or Titans?
Titans.
All right, let's go. Chargers or Hawks?
Hawks.
Hawks. Diablos or Mustangs?
Mustangs.
All right, Eagles or Lions?
Eagles.
Wolverines or Tritons?
Tritons.
All right, you ready? Let's then round number 2. Dolphins or Tritons?
Tritons.
All right. Titans or Hawks?
Hawks.
All right. Mustangs or Eagles?
Eagles.
All right. And then this is the final round right here. Tritons, Hawks, or Eagles?
Tritons.
All right. I'm going to ask this. Dylan, do you know what this category was?
I'm going to
I
be
think
honest with you, the
Tristan
Triton
knows.
gave it away, and I'm pretty sure it was just mascots of various places that he's played. But was Falcons mentioned at a point, and I was so confused by whatever you were doing. I mean, who knows?
I will admit this. It was all sort of last minute put together here. I didn't rely on Google Gemini for this one, but it's basically high school mascots in and around the South Orange County area where Tristan probably knows a lot of these schools. Like I could probably ask, if I say Diablos, what school is that, Tristan?
Mission Viejo.
All right. And obviously, Tritons. Wolverines?
Wolverines.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
You don't have to give us
No, I can't think of someone.
You don't have to know these. I don't expect you to know all these. But yeah, no, that's what it was. Just high schools in the South OC area, the mascots. So, and I see someone already said Mustangs over Diablos. I feel betrayed. So apparently Matthew either was a Diablo or just likes the name Diablos. Who knows? Tristan, last but not least, do you have any comments, anything you want to say to the fans, either listening, watching live, or that may be listening or watching this in the future in podcast form? Anything you want to say to the fans?
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for your support so far this season. Yeah, we love it when you guys come to the games. The players love it when the stadium's packed. It really pushes us on to sometimes win games if it's coming down to the wire. But yeah, make the champ a fortress the rest of the season, so we can win as many games at home as possible. And we'll try to do our best to put in good performances.
Oh, we're looking forward to it, and we hope we get to see a lot of goals coming from the foot of Tristan Trager. Tristan, thank you as always for joining our show, and we hope we get to talk to you again soon after you've scored like 20 goals in the next couple weeks here.
Okay, sounds good. Let's do it.
Have a good one.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, there we go. Orange County forward, attacker, goal scorer, Tristan Trager. We're hoping for a lot from him coming up here in the near future and this season, right? So exciting.
20
and
goals
yes,
in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, right? That would be some sort of record, right, Blaine?
I think so.
Yeah, who knows? And I just love that producer Andy's, basically wanted to make sure that last minute thrown together embodies our show. This is when I've started doing these quick response questions. I usually wait till I hear some information from the player, and then I try and base our questions around what I've heard. And I just was trying to figure out, and unfortunately, Gemini could not give me a list of this or that for high school mascots in South Orange County, so I had to put it together myself. So you can't rely on Gemini for everything, folks, or ChatGPT or whatever AI you use for all that stuff. Woohoo, fun stuff. Can you imagine? I'm going to ask you this, Dylan. Can you imagine if this would have been a solo show from me, how fun this would have been?
You're right. Everybody, you're welcome that I'm here. It's maybe the one time
Blaine,
my presence has ever been wanted.
Blaine, do you have any other soccer related thing you want to talk about? I mean, this is whatever.
I got nothing right now. I'm kind of blank.
Yeah, Dylan, anything? Or are we
Honestly, I'm
wrapping this
surprised
up?
he didn't want to talk about Reading, but let's be honest.
Wait,
Let's.
we're
Hey,
still they're still in the league, so there's that. They're still in the EFL. We did not get kicked out yet, so and
yet.
we did not make the playoffs again. But oh
Things
well.
could always be worse, Orange County
There,
fans. Imagine if we all loved Reading, because that would be worse.
Or if we all love Luton Town, that could be worse
That
too.
would, this year, be worse, but financially solvent. So I'll take that. Thank you, Ray.
That no, a team that has good finances is always a good thing because we've seen how that has impacted a lot of clubs
And I think that's
around the
almost
world.
a perfect kind of segue to wrap this up. Is yeah, things aren't great. Um, 8 games in, 10 points, not wonderful.
Could be worse.
We used to lose 2-0 to RGV every single year because they would just kind of park the bus and we'd get complacent and then they'd score early and they'd score late when we were pushing. It happens. It's a long season. This club is set up for success and primed to actually be around for a while. So we'll have some good seasons. We'll have some bad seasons. We'll have good and bad runs within those. Oh, well. Wasn't all that long ago that we were in St. Pete going crazy. So
With
there's
shirtless
a nice way to
fanny
put
pack
it.
Dylan.
Shirtless fanny pack Dylan and Blaine, who successfully made his flight home, everybody. So
I made it home.
good
I'm
things.
still I'm still married.
Wait,
Blaine's still married. Good
apparently-
things can still happen.
I got to ask this. Apparently, there's a rugby match taking place at Championship Soccer Stadium. Are we excited about that, Blaine? Or are you sort of upset that it's going to ruin the field?
I did not know there was a rugby match. They do have a tendency to destroy fields. When is that game, and how much time do we have? Is that this week before our game? I'm hoping not.
Okay. According to Chad, it looks like after the match, the city is going to reseed the field and OCSC will be on the road for most of June. So apparently it's taking place while we're away, which is good because we all know, especially Dylan can attest, because I think Dylan has played rugby in the past. Maybe he's going to, are you part of this match, Dylan?
I am not. If it's probably not a surprise, but 155 pounds of me is not exactly my rugby playing weight. I would get snapped in half.
No, but you would be perfect for that guy that the big strong guy likes to throw up in the air to catch a ball. I mean, that's perfect for you, Dylan.
Yes,
I don't know what the position's called. I don't know anything about rugby, but I could picture you being that person.
Dylan, you seem more made for rugby sevens. Get a lot more space and throw it out wide so you can run, but hopefully no one hits you.
Blaine understands me greatly, but together you two were both correct. I was the man getting thrown in the air, and it is probably the worst experience you can imagine. Oh well. Somehow this has become the Orange and Black Rugby podcast, which probably means we should probably just stop here.
All right, we'll stop it. Dylan, what did you learn this episode?
I learned just how late I can get here and still not have the worst performance. So thrown together last minute, yes. Should I change? Ooh. Yeah, I definitely should. But good things can still happen.
Dylan is saying he didn't have the worst performance. I know I didn't, so he's saying you had the worst performance, Blaine. What did you learn this
accept
episode?
it. Yep. I believe it.
That's a professional attitude that I did not expect.
What did you learn this episode, Blaine?
What did I learn this episode? I'm just excited for another game, another weekend at the Champ. Home games and seeing it in person is the best way to go. So obviously away games are if you can make it. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see how we come back from the loss. I think we're still pretty solid. I think if we make a few small adjustments from how we played in North Carolina, that we can see a really good result. So.
What did I learn this episode? I learned that Tristan Trager played 4 years of high school football and actually was part of the only state championship team for San Clemente High School, as I believe he said a junior. So that's pretty cool. And I was sort of joking before, and I didn't ask Tristan this question directly. It's like, I wonder, apparently he did it because his mom was saying, hey, play some football. It's a good opportunity in case you need to get a scholarship if soccer doesn't work out. But I really would love to get a statistic of how many place kickers in high school football are sort of pulled in from the soccer team, maybe scouting soccer players and finding players that have a good kick. That'd be a cool stat to figure out. Dylan, you want to do a research paper on that for us?
No, but since you have a kid in high school, you're probably spending a lot of time hanging out around side of them. So maybe figure it out that way. I don't know.
Nope.
I stay away from
I'm
the
not
youth
actually.
because I do not understand them.
Okay. Well, awesome. This was fun. I want to thank everyone that participated in this episode, including our guest from OCSC, Tristan Trager, my co-host for this episode, Blaine Jenks from CLC, Dylan, who's I've had to deal with for the last 6.5 years now, right? Oh no, 6 years. We're coming up on 6 years, Dylan. Oh,
Nope.
8 years.
We're coming up
No,
on
wait,
7.
7 years. 7.
Got there
I can't
eventually.
math. I cannot math. I also want to thank everyone that participated in the chats, listening along, throwing some chats in, having fun with us. Or if you listen in podcast form, however you do so, make sure you subscribe, like, follow us on those so we can, when our episodes become live. If you want to watch us live, you didn't know we do this. Watch us live every Tuesday Pacific time, 8 o'clock, and you can watch us. Dylan's laughing at that. I don't know why. I think he just wants me to wrap this up. So we'll do that for Dylan, for Blaine, for our producer Andy, and for everyone here at the Orange Box Soccer Cast. Thank you for listening. We are out.